Good morning. Happy Sunday. I wanted to come on today and just do a get ready with me, show you how a different technique of how I put my makeup on, do a pretty simple eyeshadow tutorial, and then give you some tips along the way. So I'll just dive right in. But one tip that I did want to share with you, especially going into the colder months, I feel like we have just gone straight into winter. There was no fall. So one thing that you may find is that your cream makeups, if you have them in a cold room, will tend to harden. I deal with that every day because I film these up in our bonus room, and we do not have the heat running all the time because there's nobody really up here. So one way to solve that problem is just take your blow dryer and run over it for a minute or two. You don't want to melt them, but you'll notice like you'll kind of get like a nice sheen to them when they warm up. This just helps them to kind of go on a lot easier, smoother, creamier. So tip for you, because we're definitely going to be dealing with that in the colder months. So I'm just going to dive right in. One thing that you may be having trouble with, if you're doing the cheetah hack where you just dot your whole face and then blend it out all together, if you find that your contour is maybe not as sharp as you would like it to be, you can always do your contour first. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And that's kind of how I've been doing my makeup every day. So I'm going to clip my hair back. I'm a brunette today. For those of you who don't know me on a personal level or haven't had that conversation, I wear wigs. So you may see me in different hair colors now and again. So today I decided to go brunette because I styled my brunette wig and I was just feeling like going a little darker today. So anyways, fun fact about me. So if you have any questions about that, I'm always an open book about that as well. So anyways, let's dive right in. So when I do my contour, typically, I'll do it first and it keeps it nice and sharp. So I'm going to use our detail brush. This end is for your highlights, and then this end is the end that you can use for your contour. So that is the end that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to dab it into my contour like that, and then you'll just kind of stipple it in. And this brush makes like a really nice sharp line. And just go in right under your cheekbone. You don't want to go too far in. So like I said before, just go about halfway. And then you can just kind of buff that out a little bit so it's not such a harsh line. Now, based on your face shape, like how I contour my face is going to be different than how somebody with like a very round shape would contour their face. So I can find a graphic for you guys that shows you based on your face shape the best way to contour for your particular face shape. I don't typically contour along my jawline right here. I contour right in my chin area because I have a very like oval diamond face. So I just go along there and then up into my hairline. You can kind of buff that out as you go. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my main highlight, and I'm going to use, this is the IID brush. You have a tip for what you can use for your highlight. This is, I mean, I use this to blend my whole face this side. I tend to like the fluffier side for my highlight. So I'm just going to go in and just dab a couple of times, and I'm not putting too much product on, and you can go and blend out afterwards. I'm just kind of dabbing it where I want my main color to go. And then I'll blend it out. Okay, then I'm just going to blend it out. So you'll notice doing it this way, it keeps that contour line nice and sharp. So if that is an issue that you've been having, that may be, just try a different technique of putting it on. That's the great thing about this makeup, is that there are so many different ways to put it on, and you just have to really play with it. Don't be afraid to play with your makeup and find out what works best for you. And I'm always here if you're having an issue with something, to troubleshoot and give you some ideas of things to try. One thing I did want to say, sorry, my voice is going crazy today. One thing I did want to say is for my under eyes, lately I don't put my main highlight under my eyes, but I do blend under there, and it just gets a little bit of the product under my eyes to kind of help color correct a little bit. So when I'm blending out my main highlight, I just kind of sweep it under there. And then I'll go in with my brightening just in the corner and up here. But just dragging it under gives you a little bit of help right there. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my brightening highlight, my white peach. And I'm just going to go in the inner corner of my eyes. And then I'm going to drag it up like that. And then I just kind of staple it in where I placed it. And then you'll kind of drag it in the middle. But that just conceals your eye, and you don't have a ton of product under there. That way it avoids the whole creasing issue, and it just stays looking natural and fresh. All right, and then I'm going to do a little of my main highlight in the middle of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose. And one thing I forgot to mention, I do contour my nose, but I like to put my highlights on before I contour my nose. So I'll go back and do that here in a second. But for me, I feel like if I do my contour first, it kind of gets lost when I put my highlights on because it's such a fine area. So I put my highlights on first if you're contouring your nose. Okay. I'm going to go in and contour my nose. And this is completely optional. Some people don't like to contour their nose, don't need to contour their nose. Personally, I like to give my nose a little definition because I really don't have that much. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go in with my bronzer, and I actually have one of the new bronzers. This is Tan Lines, and I just got this in, so I was going to go ahead and try it out today and see how I like it. This is probably lighter than Bella. I feel like Bella typically is like the color that everybody universally uses. So this is a little bit lighter of a shade. So for my really fair ladies, this would be a really good pretty bronzer on you. It looks really pretty. So you'll just hit your bronzer where you want that kind of sun-kissed look to warm your face up. Again, contour is to give you shadow and dimension, and your bronzer is to warm you up. Sorry, goodness gracious. Need a sip of coffee. I did not sleep good last night at all. We had Blakely up in the middle of the night. Jackson came in at some point and he lays on top of me. So I think I got 3 hours of sleep last All right, bronzer's done. I'm gonna do my lip and cheeks. So one thing about lip and cheeks for me, I cannot make a decision. So I'm notorious for mixing and matching my lip and cheeks, which is really fun because you pretty much can get a different look every single day. They're all just so pretty. I can't decide, so I just don't. But recently I got Plum in. It's this purple color in the middle, and it is so pretty on. And I feel like it is such a good color on a lot of skin tones, and it's so pretty for fall and winter. So I've been using Plum pretty much in some capacity since I've gotten it. I'll show you what it looks like just by itself because I was going to mix it today. But that is what Plum looks like by itself. And I was going to mix it with Royal, which is this dark red gloss color. And these are so pretty together. I really, really like them. And I'm a big fan because Plum is one of the satin colors and Royal is a gloss. I'm a really big fan of mixing the glosses with the satins because it kind of gives you that dewy effect, which is really pretty. I feel like it just kind of gives you like a really healthy flush. Also, I'll show you how I do my lips at the end, but I'm not a big fan of the satins on my lips by themselves. It is like a matte lipstick, which are really pretty on, but they don't feel pretty at all. So I highly recommend just mixing those with a gloss or a lip conditioner or something along those lines. Okay, so we have everything in place. I need to go in and set. And before I do that, I need to prime my eyes, get ready for shadow. So I like to go in with one of my brightening highlights. This is Versailles, it's one of my lighter ones. So always go in and prime your lids. It gives your eyeshadow a really nice canvas to go on and just kind of helps it to pop, especially if you use like a light shade. And you don't need too much, just a little amount and go over your entire eye. Okay, now we're ready for setting powder. I use the Vanilla Dust. You can use whatever setting powder you have on hand. I'm a huge fan of the Vanilla Dust because I'm not a huge fan of setting powder, and this does not feel like a powder on your face. It's super lightweight, and it just helps to kind of set everything, keep it in place. It gives your makeup longevity without that like kind of just dry cakey feeling that a lot of powders typically will give me. So I highly, 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 highly recommend setting your makeup, especially with cream makeup. I just feel like if you don't set it, you're not going to get probably the wear out of it that you should. And you can always return it if you don't like it, but I always recommend with every single client to get the Vanilla Dust because especially if you don't like the feeling of powders, you don't notice it. And it just gives your makeup a really pretty finish. And I don't put powder typically on my blush because I like it to have that kind of sheen. And I find that my blush doesn't really go anywhere. So I will set all around my blush. So I'm going to do my brows first. I have started using one of my eyeshadows as my brow powder, and it's worked out really well. I still go in and I line my eyes with a pencil, but you can use one of your contours as a brow liner, brow pomade, if you'd like. They're really good for that. I like this pencil. I can't break away from it yet. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer, and I'm gonna attempt to do my eyebrows in a cell phone, but I may have to break away to look at the mirror in front of me. We'll just see how it goes. So I just line the outside of my brows with a pencil. And it kind of gives them that sharpness. And then I'll go in and I'll fill my brows. Okay. So let's fill our brows. I use the color Cafe, which is this one. This is a really good color for your brows, if you gravitate towards those really taupey, neutral, medium browns, dark blondes. This has worked really, really well for me. So I just go in with a tiny bit of Cafe and fill in my brows. I love that I can use my eyeshadow for a brow powder because it just helps maximize the use of my makeup palette and eliminates like one extra piece of clutter in my bathroom. So that's one of the wonderful things about this makeup, is there is not just one use for each product. So I'm going to show you like a couple of tips and tricks today to maximize your makeup. Okay, brows are in, and what a world of difference they make. So let's do eyeshadow. I'm going to do a simple look today. I got a few new colors in that I'm really excited about, and I'm going to use a couple of them today. But I just got this one in. This is Cupcake. It's just a really pale cream color, matte. So that'll be a really pretty base. And I also got Soulmate in. That's a pretty kind of pink, peachish, subtle shimmer. And then this is Revival, which I've been wanting for a while. This is that really deep plum color. And then the one that I'm really excited about, but I'm not going to use today because it's a little much for just everyday Sunday. But this is Graceland. Yeah, this is Graceland. It's one of the glitter shadows, which I'm not a huge glitter person. I typically like to just go matte for my eyes. But I saw this and I was like, ooh, that will be really pretty for holidays. So I'm going to do, coming up, I'm going to do like a pretty holiday look with this color. And we'll see how it goes. So for today's purposes though, we're not going full glam. I'm going to go in with Cupcake. And I'm just going to do this all over my lid and up into my crease. And this shadow look is so easily recreatable with whatever shadows you already have in your arsenal. So in place of Cupcake, you would use whatever your lightest shadow is. You'll need a medium shadow and then a dark shadow, and you are pretty much set to do this eyeshadow look. So even if you don't have these exact colors, it's okay. You can just swap them out for what you already have, and just the concept is still the same. So we went all over with Pup. Now I'm going to go in with the color Rigoletto. This one has been really pretty. It's like a very subtle kind of shimmery medium brown, and I really, really, really like this. One tip I was going to say is if you have hooded eyes or if you have smaller eyes, instead of going down into your crease to do a crease color, try going just above like this. to do your crease color. It'll open up your eyes and it'll really allow that color that you put on your lid to have its moment. So just a little tip for you. I'm going in with, this is our smudge brush, and I like this end to do my crease color. So I'm just putting my crease color in, and then I'm gonna blend everything out once I have my colors in place. So I'm doing just a little bit of Rigoletto in my crease. See how going above, just above your crease kind of opens up your eyes? Now, if I were to go down in here, you wouldn't really be able to see whatever color I had on my lids. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with, let's try Revival today. I'll see how that is. So I'll go in with Revival in my corners. This is that dark plum color, and this is our eyeshadow brush, and I'm just using the small end of the eyeshadow brush. I'm going in with a tiny bit of Revival. And again, I'm gonna blend this out in a second. But you're just gonna make a V in the corner, outer corner of your eye, and then we'll blend it out. Okay, and then use the fluffy end of your eyeshadow brush and just blend it. I love that these brushes are dual-ended because I feel like you just get so much more usage out of them. So they're really a lot of bang for your buck, especially if you're used to, like I was used to buying expensive brushes, like the IT cosmetic brushes, which I liked. But they're all one-sided. So it's like you'd spend $30, $40 on a brush and just get one use out of them, whereas all of SEINT's brushes are dual-ended, so you have multiple uses for them. Okay, so I always like to drag color under my lash line to define my eyes. I always go with whatever my medium color is, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Rigoletto, and I'm just gonna drag that from the corner of my eye under my lash line. And that's just a lot softer than using like an eyeshadow, or not eyeshadow, eyeliner under your eyes. So I much prefer that. So I'm gonna go in and line my eyes. I always use a shadow. Cocoa's a really good color for an eyeliner. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Cocoa. But you can use whatever your darkest color is, or you can use an actual eyeliner if you want. I just prefer, for me, I prefer a shadow. I feel like it gives me that definition, but it's a lot softer and less harsh. And then I go in and just kind of buff that out and smudge it a little bit. But see how it gives you definition, but it's just like a really soft, in my opinion, more flattering look. And this is the multitasker brush. So you could use this end for your brows too if you wanted. If you wanted to use use contour to line your brows, this would be a good brush. I use it to line my eyes. And then it has another end for your eyeshadow, which you could also technically use this side for your eyeliner as well. So again, this is, all of their eyeshadow brushes have been wonderful, and I pretty much use them every single day. And just blend and smudge it a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go in with, let's try Soulmate. Let's go different today. I typically will do Drift. Drift is also really, really pretty, but I like trying new things. So we're gonna try a little bit of Soulmate. Shimmers I always use with my finger. If you put it on with a brush, I feel like you lose a lot of the shimmer effect. So shimmers and glitters are typically better to use your finger on. So I'm just gonna go in and lightly dab it on the inside corner of my lid. That's pretty. Okay, I'm just gonna go in. There we go. All right, so easy eyeshadow look. You can swap out colors for whatever you already have. Or of course you can just be like me and be an eyeshadow junkie and just order them all. So I'm gonna go in and prime my lashes. Again, I'm a huge fan of priming my lashes. As I've gotten older, as I've gotten older, my mascara just tends to kind of not stay in place. And I'll end up with raccoon eyes. And this has solved that issue for me. And it gives you a little bit of fullness. Excuse me, I need some coffee again. But this is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Primer. And I really like this. I think I'm on like my 4th tube of it at this point, so. It is a staple piece. And another tip for you, I just hit myself on the side with primer, which isn't that big of a deal, but I'm notorious for being in a hurry in the morning and then I stab myself somewhere with my black mascara after I've just finished my face, and it royally ticks me off, and I'm very impatient. And so it took me a long time to just take a breath and step back and let it dry and not make a huge mess out of it, because I always want to immediately go in and wipe it off with my finger or whatever. It's way worse to do it that way. Just finish what you were doing, let it dry, and then go in with a spoolie and just dust it off, and it'll come right off. You don't mess up your eyeshadow, you don't mess up your makeup. It's so much better and kind of minimizes the damage. You might need to do a little bit of touch up, but I swear to you, it will help you immensely just to let it dry and be patient with it. Patience is not my strong suit. And both of my kids got that from me. So it's my karma. And then I'm just going in. This is the Maybelline Sky High Mascara. And I really like this mascara, but as I've said before, to me, you have to use it with a primer. When I didn't use it with a primer, it acted like a waterproof mascara, which I hate waterproof mascaras. And it, like, I felt like I was ripping out my eyelashes trying to get it off. But once I added the primer, it solved all those problems. I can hear my kiddos down there screaming. I'm sure Daddy is ready for me to be done. And I am a mascara gal, so I like a few coats. All right, so there we go. Easy peasy. I was going to show you how I do my lips, and then that will be that. So I typically line my lips with one of my contours. So I'm actually going to go in with the contour ash and line my lips. I feel like lining my lips kind of helps just give me a little fullness, because I don't have the fullest lips. So on my bottom, I just go right underneath my lip line right here and then just go up. So we don't want like the Kardashian dramatically overlined look, because let's be real, in person that's not cute. But I feel like lining your lips does give you a little bit of extra oomph. Okay, lips are lined. And like I said earlier, I always start my day putting on a lip conditioner of some sort. Lip balm, lip conditioner, lip mask, whatever you use. I've been using Seraphine Botanicals lip mask and I really like it. So before I even start my makeup, I'll put some of that on, let it soak in. But to me, it just makes your makeup go on, or your lip go on so much more comfortably. And again, if you use one of the satin lip and cheeks, unless you are a fan of how a matte lip gloss or matte lipstick feels on your mouth, you might like it. I personally don't. I think the look of matte lipsticks are really pretty, but they drive me nuts to have them on my mouth. So I always mix my satin lip and cheeks with a lip balm or one of the glossy lip and cheeks. So I'm going to go in with Plum. And I love that color. It's so pretty for fall. Another tip I was going to show you is if you're like, oh, I really like this color, but it's a little dark for me. Go in with one of your, go in with your brightening highlight. Just take a little bit of that on your finger, because you don't want to wipe your lipstick in it. Go in with a little bit on your finger. Put that on your lip and then blend it in. And it'll lighten your color, and it still feels nice and creamy on your lips. So that's one of my absolute favorite things about this makeup, is that each product you can use multiple different ways. So it's not just, your concealer is not just for one area of your face. I can use it on my lips. I can use it on my eyes as a primer. You know, your contour you can use as brow pomade, as a brow liner, all that stuff. So fun stuff about this makeup. But anyways, that's it. Here's our finished looks. I think it's really pretty. It's not too much for a Sunday. But anyways, just wanted to hop on and show you a different way of doing makeup, a little easy eyeshadow look that you could swap out for whatever you already have. But as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. If you're having any issues, feel free to reach out to me. Please do not feel uncomfortable if you need help troubleshooting on something, or if something's not working right for you, because I want to be here to help you guys. So anyways, I hope everybody is having a wonderful weekend and happy Sunday. Bye.